Have you ever noticed how some of the world's biggest companies just seem to keep growing, getting deeper and deeper into our lives, but somehow they completely avoid the government scrutiny that hammers their rivals? Well, I can tell you, it's not an accident. There's a playbook, and we're about to pull back the curtain on how these companies build their untouchable trillion-dollar empires. I mean, it's a really interesting question, right? You've got one company getting buried in antitrust lawsuits, subpoenas, and congressional hearings, while another one, that's just as powerful, gets celebrated as a national champion. What is going on there? Why the totally different treatment? And here's the answer. That immunity, it's engineered. It is the result of a very specific, carefully executed strategy that's all about bypassing government pushback entirely. It's about turning a potential enemy, the state, into your most powerful ally. And this really frames the two paths a company can take. On one side, you're seen as secretive, closed off, a job destroyer, a monopoly. That's the fast track to getting broken up. But on the other side, you're the untouchable ally. You're transparent, you're a job creator, you're a national asset. The entire playbook we're talking about is designed to make sure you're the company on the right. So this gets us to the absolute core philosophy of the whole strategy. And it really is a fundamental shift in mindset. It's not about fighting the government. It's about making the government depend on you. And this is maybe the most important thing to understand. It's not really about how powerful you are. It's all about perception. If you look dangerous or hostile, you are basically inviting regulators to come after you. But if you frame yourself as cooperative, as essential, as open, you can build up unbelievable amounts of power with almost zero interference. And that right there is the golden rule of this entire playbook. Okay, but how do you actually do that? How do you create that perception? Well, the first big tactic is all about how you structure your company and your products. It's about how to dominate an entire market without ever looking like a classic monopoly. They use what you could call an open ecosystem guarded core model. The strategy is to be super open on the outside. You offer up APIs, developer tools, and marketplaces so that everybody can build businesses on top of your platform. This makes you look like the friendliest partner in the world. But, and this is the key, you keep the core totally locked down. Your compute, your foundational AI models, your proprietary data, that's your untouchable moat. And that's the magic trick, right? You get all the benefits of a monopoly because you control the absolute core of the economic engine. But you completely sidestep the antitrust arguments because, hey, on the surface, your ecosystem is wide open for business. And it doesn't stop there. Another key part of this is being what's called multi-home friendly. You see, regulators hate it when companies create walled gardens that lock users in. So what do? You do the exact opposite. You make it incredibly easy for users to export their data. You let your tools run right alongside a competitor's. This just demolishes the classic antitrust argument before it even gets off the ground. Now, the next play takes this a whole step further. It's not just about looking open anymore. It's about actively weaving your company into the very fabric of the national interest to make yourself truly indispensable. The really smart companies, they do this proactively. They go to government agencies and partner with them before they're even asked. They build special, secure, military-grade versions of their products. And when it comes to data, which is the biggest red flag for regulators, they frame their data strategy as the solution, not the problem. They use these frameworks to keep data local and secure, which just erases any national security fears. You're not a risk anymore. You're a national asset. Okay, so even if you do all of that perfectly, there is one political firestorm that can just burn it all down. The fear that your technology is destroying jobs. This is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful attacks used against big tech. And the way you counter this is just brilliant. You don't get into an argument about whether jobs are being lost. No. Instead, you completely reframe the conversation. You say, it's not about elimination, it's about evolution. We're not firing people, we're creating the workforce of the future. And here's the genius part. You back it up with real action. You invent and promote brand new job titles like AI operator or agent supervisor. You launch these huge free training programs to upskill millions of people, and politicians absolutely love that stuff. It completely neutralizes the opposition and turns what could have been a PR crisis into a massive win. So, let's recap. You've built an open platform, you've become a national ally, and you've shielded yourself from the job loss attacks. All of this, it's all building towards the final and most powerful goal of the entire playbook.
So what is it? What's that one final defense that makes a company truly, permanently untouchable, no matter how big or how powerful it gets?
This. This is it. The ultimate moat. It isn't your technology, it isn't your market share. It's when the government itself looks at your company and says, we literally cannot function without them. You've become critical national infrastructure. And look, this isn't some theory. Think about it. Amazon runs the cloud for the Department of Defense. SpaceX basically is the U.S. space program at this point. Microsoft runs the IT for countless federal agencies. Palantir handles core intelligence data. These companies aren't just market leaders, they are essential partners for the entire country's operations.
So you see, the goal of this entire strategy isn't to run away from the government. It's to pull the government in so close that they become completely dependent on your success. That, right there, is the end game. So let's put it all together. What does this final blueprint for building an immune, untouchable company actually look like? An untouchable company works hard to create this exact perception. It looks open and transparent. It's seen as cooperative with regulators. It tells a powerful story about being a job creator. And, most importantly, it has made itself absolutely essential to the nation's success. Each one of these pieces reinforces the others, creating this incredibly powerful shield. When you really boil it down, this playbook completely redefines what corporate power even means. The strongest companies aren't the ones that build the highest walls and fight the hardest. No, they're the ones that tear down the walls, invite everyone in, and make themselves so useful that nobody could even imagine a world without them. And that leaves us with one last, pretty provocative question to think about. As more and more companies get really good at this playbook, what does that mean for competition? What does it mean for society when the goal isn't just to dominate a market anymore, but to become an unofficial arm of the state? Is being critical infrastructure just the new 21st century version of a monopoly?